Yeah. Thought I died, right? Gang. Listen. Pay attention.
Hey guys, how's it going? So it's been a while I didn't update you about my reef tank. Simply because I was always contemplating on upgrading it and making it bigger in order for me to grow out my fish and add some fish. So I decided to transfer everything that was in my 40-gallon into my 65-gallon, which was previously a Tanganyikan setup. This is a 65-gallon tall. As you can see, it's tall and long. It's kind of the same shape as was my 40-gallon. And first I'll go over the equipment I got running on it, and then we'll go into the corals and everything. But before we do that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell button just to get my latest notified videos so you know when I upload new stuff. Alright, so let's get going. Just like in my previous 40-gallon, I got here running a Tidal 110, which is an amazing hang-on filter. It has an actual skimmer right here, so it skims the surface and then anything like that floats around. And it also does the regular hang-on filter from the bottom. Also inside of it, I hope you can see well, I have some I have some Purigen carbon, filter floss, and some Chaeto algae growing from it, so it acts as a refugium. Next to it, we have my skimmer, which is a bubble magnet, I believe. It's the very small version, and I literally had to break my rim to fit it on because it's such a small skimmer. But it works pretty good, and it takes about a week to fill up the head. So for now, like, I'm gonna leave it. I got myself a much bigger skimmer, also hang on, but I feel it was so bulky, and if this one works, why change it? Also for aeration, I got here a Jabao Wavemaker pump. It's the long version. I used to have smaller ones, but I find this one does a really good job. If you can see all the amazing waves it does. And literally, I have no stagnant areas. Like, my sand is pretty nice. Everything moves around in a circular motion and it comes back full circle into the Jabao pump. By the way, I'm not sponsored by any of this, so if you want to sponsor me, go right ahead because they give good reviews. And I have two lights, which are the Hilo ray lights. And they're pretty amazing. I got two of them. Next to it, I have my aqua illumination, but that's for my setup that's next to it. So these lights, if we go on top, you have buttons for 5 times white, 5 times blue. You can mix it on and on and off. So you have to manually control them. But as for the shimmer, I find it gives a better shimmer and glare than Radions even do. So I know it's a far shot to compare to Radions, but my Radions never gave me a shimmer like that in any of my tank. So there is actually a version of these lights that's like $1,000 on AliExpress, but those ones they actually come with Wi-Fi and phone control, so you can do a bunch of cool stuff with them if you have the budget. But I was trying to be a little cheap, and I went with these $100 lights, which were great. On like a 4-foot long tank, I only needed 2 of them. So let's get into my tank. This is my tank. And I have a few pretty rare things in it that most people are like, oh, it's gonna die, like, don't get it, don't put it. And what I'm talking about is my feather star. So this is one of like the ancient type of organisms that lived in the ocean. It's a very, very simple organism. It's a micro feeder, so basically it traps microparticles into its feathers. Right now it's in feeding mode, so it's trying to catch things. And then when it has caught something, it will curl up and bring it all to the center of its mouth. So it's a pretty cool thing. I've had it since over a month, since before I transferred. And it's doing well, so hey, I aced it. Also in here we have my Haitian pink tip anemone, which normally does not host clowns, but like all my things are weird, my clowns like it, and I feed it several times a week some dried fish from Asian market, so it's very easy. As for other strange inverts, I also have a feather duster here. I got a bunch of snails, different types of snails. I have Kenya trees. I have a lot of frog spawns. This is my frog spawn. I hope you can see it properly. I have a pipe organ coral. Hold on, I'm gonna bring it close so you can see. Let me just, sorry, it's gonna shake a bit because I'm actually standing on my couch to get to this tank. But there you go, pipe organ coral. Next to it, you have a mushroom. It looks like just a simple mushroom. But right next to this mushroom right here, you have actually some sponge, like sea sponges growing. One is the red one, and then you also have the yellow ones. Excuse my shaking, I'm trying to zoom in. So you see you have like a yellowish one and a pink one. My friend said the pink one is a people eater or something like that sponge. Pretty cool name, eh? Also, Bob the Blob is currently closed because this thing has probably rubbed it the wrong way, but I'll insert a picture of Bob the Blob in his normal days, and he's a plump little guy. And this is called actually folded or something like folded brain coral or something, but it's a pretty nice coral. I love it. Here we have my oldest coral of all, a year and some old, which is a green akin. We have a cabbage coral here. And I was speaking of my sea sponges growing randomly in the tank. On this thing, I also have some sea sponges. I hope you can clearly see. There are some sponges growing out of those zoantid colonies. Right below, we have some mushrooms. We got another frog spawn right here. We have a ton of frog spawns and hammer corals all living together right next to their akins. We have one of my oldest inhabitants, which is a clown goby. He is so cute. We have the Duncan coral. We have a very big hammer coral next to some zoantids and some mushrooms. Another Kenya tree. Oh, my torch coral, something touched it because it closed, but this is a nice green torch normally. We got a leather right here. We have my most expensive coral of all, $300+. I can't believe I even paid it. Is it a canthophylla? I don't remember what it is, but it's one of those expensive ones. Also for fish, I have my Hilo Tang in here. I will try to insert a little passage that I recorded earlier when he was munching on some algae, because he's hiding currently. They really don't like when I come close to the tank like that. I also have an Atlantic blue tang, also somewhere. Maybe if I back up a little bit, they will start coming out. There you go. You see, he came out when I backed up. He's right there in the middle. Him and his friend are always in that rock. See, the two tangs just came out. This is the Atlantic blue tang. I'm sorry if you can't see him really clearly. If I come any closer, they're gonna just bounce. So maybe if I zoom in, hopefully you'll have some good views of them. They're so adorable. They're still babies. And the other one's somewhere here. They have grown though since I got them. I also got this new wrasse because my canary wrasse jumped out from the other setup. So I didn't want to get the same wrasse twice. I'm like, whatever, jumped out. That means we need to get something different this time. And there he is again. He has the cutest face. They're besties. They're always swimming together. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy my new reef tank. I'll let you watch a little bit more. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I always upload some videos of my pets. I have many aquariums, a dog, a tortoise, 25 aquariums. So yeah, and feel free to just comment below like what you think about my tank, if you have any recommendations, if you see anything off. Like, I always like to know. Even though I work in aquarium services, I still like to know your recommendations. Oh, and one special thing, I don't actually do water changes so much on my reef tanks. I just let them be minimal feeding, mostly algae and a little bit of brine shrimp daily. But I mostly do just the filter and the skimmer. And since we have Chaeto algae in the filter, it really takes care of the nitrate. And I also have my sea sponges growing in, sucking up all those goodies. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Yeah. Died, right?